よくやった。褒めて使わす。
Nina the Starry Bride. I really like this show. Now, as I'm watching the show kind of unfold, I really like Nina and the character that she's supposed to represent. Now, as I was watching the show, there are it was originally it was two, but I think there's three main things that can kind of sway my opinion about really liking the show later on. And I'm gonna get that out right at the beginning. So the first thing is this is a romance anime, and it's described that she's gonna have budding feelings, or basically she's gonna have feelings for this Azure guy, and who knows if those feelings go two ways? Who knows if it's a two-way street with those feelings? But that definitely ends up being kind of like one of my worries about the show is she's supposed to be representing, or pretending to be this Alicia girl who is a princess of this kingdom, and essentially half brother or half sister to Azure, which is her half brother. Now, in reality, they have no familiar relations with each other. They have no ties to each other. So if a romance were to happen, it's technically okay. But from the person she's supposed to be representing and for what her mission is, which is to go and marry some other guy, I don't know how I feel about that romance being a thing. And how does that even... like, is it just like they push the agenda to where they make it okay that if they have a romance that's just half sibling romance? I don't know how that's going to be viewed in the greater scheme of things. So that's my number one. My number two is I'm a little bit confused on her age. Now we know that the rite of ceremony, or like she's supposed to be representative like a spirit or like a goddess or whatever. Like basically in this land, there's some kind of person who's like a saintess kind of thing, and she's that person, or at least she's now pretending to be that person, because that person died. Now it says that her rite of passage or whatever is 16, so we know that she's not 16 yet. But how close is she? Now, when it originally showed, like when she was originally shown, this Nina girl, in my mind, she's somewhere in the ballpark of like 8 to 12 years old, somewhere in that ballpark. But it looks like after she got cleaned up and after they put a dress on her or whatever, it looks like she might be closer to that 14, 15, like closer to that 16 age coming soon. So I was just really confused on her age, because like, oh, she's a little kid. Oh, but no, actually, no, she's a teenager, which could be because she was malnourished and other things, because, she was out and, she was homeless. She's like living by scraps and thievery and stuff like that. But I was really confused there because, when she was originally depicted, I was like, oh, she's this little girl. But no, she's actually, it seems like she could potentially be like a teenager. I don't know how I feel about that, and especially because the first point is that romance piece of it. And this is it is romance genre. So there's going to be romance here at some point, whether it depicts her later in life or if it happens now, I don't know. So that's the thing. I'm just confused on what her age is. And maybe the show will be like, oh, she doesn't know because she was, living in the streets or something like that. So it seems she could be 15, but it seemed like she was 10. So that's one thing. And then the third piece of this whole kerfuffleness, the third piece of, or the third thing that could, and all these points are things that as the show continues to unfold before us, kind of could be something that I harp on as we go, because like, okay, if I don't kind of get a good feeling on one or all of these things, it'll deter my enjoyment of the show. The third thing is Alicia. So this Alicia girl was concubine or out of wedlock, I guess, but the king is definitely her father. Now not this Nina girl, because she was this street rat or whatever. And maybe there's a storyline later where it's like, oh, well, the king actually went out and he had a good time with, whatever. But she mentioned that, I don't think that'll happen, because she mentioned that she was familiar at some point with her mother and her father. So we know we can kind of cut that out. But this Alicia girl was basically at a very young age, some kind of, what do they call it? not summon, but like some kind of like fantasy or some kind of story or some kind of like, you know, when people get like a calling or whatever. There's a specific word, my mind just went blank. But you guys know what I mean? Like, you know, there was like some kind of like thing out there that said, oh, this little girl is this spiritual saintess being or whatever. And because of that, she was basically sent to this other village, this like church village type deal, to prepare to be the saintess, the goddess, you know, whatever. So she was basically just sight unseen. So she has no relationship with her dad, or who knows who her mother actually was before. And this prince was just assigned to kind of like watch over her and stuff. And they effed up, and somehow the carriage that she was on, whether it was murder, like whether like, you know, somebody was out there like trying to murder the princess before she got to the king, or it's unknown. We don't really know if she was like, you know, intentionally killed or it was really accidental. But regardless, she died. And because she died, the prince, because I guess, you know, he's not in good standing, he was like, oh shit, if they find out the princess died, it's my head. So we need to find a replacement. At least that's what I think happened. But it's hard to tell for sure on what exactly occurred to get them to have the bright idea to be like, oh, let's just replace her. And then they were just going to replace her with the boy, because originally it was said, oh, there's this boy with blue eyes and these very rare gem-like blue eyes. Thankfully, they found out that no, she's actually a girl. And you know the way that they found that out. So it made the whole transaction easier. But just the whole idea behind, we don't really know what happened with the princess. Let's just say for sake of argument, we get that. We get those answers. But why was the best go-to idea like, oh, let's just replace her? Now, I guess, like I said, there must be other reasons behind there. The prince is not in good standing. He's not next in line for the throne as of yet. He doesn't want to F up his one and only mission. Nobody really knows what this little girl looks like because she was just like, oh, baby, shipped off to the church or whatever. So there's that level of mystery. But you also, at the end of the episode, it showed us that, you know, she could have potentially been killed on purpose. And the people who made the killing happen are like, yo, how'd this girl show up? Like, I thought we killed her, you know? So, yeah. But anyways, the rest of the episode, though, you know, it just kind of goes through with Nina and her living on the streets, and, you know, some little kid dies, and she's sold off by her friend because I think he thinks he was looking out for her. He's like, I think you'll live a better life or something. Or he got paid a certain amount. He's like, yo, I'll go live a better life, you know? Regardless of what happened, he was either cool about it and was trying to do right by her, or he was saying F you, and he got money from, he's like, I'm gonna go live a better life because my brother just died. I can't be living like this no more. Regardless of what happened, she got sold off, and the prince found her, and she had to go in front of the king and queen, and I like everything else that it was about. You guys saw the episode. So, yeah, Nina the Starry Bride, I think it's what it's called, Nina the Starry Bride. I would put this one, let's call it 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it was amazing, but I really did genuinely like it. So let's call it 7.5 out of 10. I think this is a better episode 1 than a lot of other episodes this season in the fall so far. So definitely, I think this one was a big win. All right, my friends, that's been me. That's been Nina the Starry Bride. I'll see you guys on the next episode next week. Peace out.